Welcome in, everyone. The gang is back together. It's college football week 6. Kevin, Seth, and Steve with you for BTB Analytics. A lot of good matchups to break down, a lot of data, some off the numbers, a lot of good value. I think you're going to want to stick around in here. Let's get into it.
Give a damn about a hater when I feel like it. Not today, not today, not today, not tomorrow. Get out my way, please. I'm trying to get paid. Not today.
All right, boys. College football week 6. We got lots to discuss. Let's save the pitter patter and kind of deep dive stuff as we go through each individual matchup here. Let's start on a Friday night again. Friday Night Lights. Okay, we're gonna go to Michigan State and Oregon to kick things off. We talked about it last week too, but let's hope this one is. I mean, the spread and the market is kind of suggesting that it's not going to be a good game, but I don't know. Maybe they'll maybe this one will surprise us. But I got a question for you, Seth, and kind of open ended. But like, who is this Oregon team?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure how to pinpoint them here. So you see on the screen, we make the number 28. This current spread is at 20. Sorry. Oh, okay. Thank you for my eyes are bad. I don't have the zoomed in. I'm not full screen here. So we make the number 26. It was our current spread was at 24. So we showed just a little bit of value on Oregon. But yeah, who is this Oregon team? I'm not really sure how to peg them.
Yeah, I think it's a really good question. And early on, we flagged this in the early weeks. When we look at the weighted EPA for Oregon, this was like one of the worst offenses in the nation. And they've kind of picked up speed a little bit every week. They had a coming out party against Oregon State, their rival. And last week, they looked improved over a UCLA team. They didn't end up covering, but there was a pick six there that kind of turned that cover. And I think that they were headed in the right direction. This team currently, as we sit, as we're talking in the current form, is the 41st passing offense, the 57th rushing offense. But they're going up against Michigan State team. Against the pass is actually quite susceptible, 84th against the pass, but 16th against the rush. So I think if you're Oregon here, maybe running the ball is part of the game plan. But I have to agree with you. Dylan Gabriel does not look like this world beater that he looked like he was at Oklahoma. Now, that being said, Michigan State on the offensive side of the ball is pretty abysmal. This is the 60th passing efficient team on with the pass, and then on the rush, they are the 110th rushing team.
They're not good anywhere.
Yeah, but I saw this data point. It's quite interesting. Neither of these teams are paying off their drives. Oregon is 110th in points per equal, and Michigan State's 130th. So if you want to be a Michigan State backer here, like that's one data point you want to hang your hat on. I mean, Oregon is getting, not necessarily struggling getting to the 40, but once they get there, they are not paying off those drives. And then the interesting thing there is Michigan State happens to be 7th in equal rate, right? So they are pretty good at limiting teams getting those opportunities. So is this upset alert? Our numbers kind of lean in the direction of Oregon, but at this 0.7% edge, this is not enough for us to bet it. And quite frankly, I kind of am calling a little bit for Oregon upset. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little concerned.
Well, yeah, that's so to your point about the points per equal and all that, and just given how generally bad Michigan State is offensively, and Oregon defensively, they're actually top 10 in terms of net success rate or success rate allowed, and by what I saw earlier today, 12th in passing EPA allowed. So bad Michigan State offense. Yep, better than average Oregon defense in a couple of specific metrics. Bad points per equal, kind of on both sides. You're talking Oregon upset. That's pretty intense. The only thing I was looking at for this game, like I'm not, I don't know if you're willing to sprinkle on Michigan State money line, but I'm not sure points are going to be at a premium here. So if anything, like I like the under 52.5.
I agree with this. And Steve, before we get your kind of thoughts here, one thing I want to point out there to your point, Kevin, here is, yeah, you're right. Michigan State struggles running the ball, but Oregon struggles defending the run, 107th defensively. And you're right. We have in our numbers top 10 against the pass for Oregon. So is this the game where Michigan State actually has a little bit of success and it happens on the ground, eats up time, to your point, plays into the under, but also plays into an upset. So just something I thought was interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know, Steve. Are you kind of in line with that, or what do you? I mean, will the Royal Oregon Ducks please stand up? That's what I got. I need to know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the concern from Oregon is fair, but my concern really is not for that. My concern is for Michigan State here. And like when Seth, you said that, it reminds me of that meme. It's like call an ambulance, but for you, like this thing is like one word that reminds me, or one word I think of when I think of this game is havoc, right? We look at Michigan State. Their offensive line, especially that right side with Brandon Baldwin and Ashton Leppo, like those are two of the worst by PFF grades offensive linemen in the country going up against left edge Derek Harmon, who has the first overall rank in terms of pass rush, as well as the Bryce Botro on that linebacker side there. And Oregon's defense generates havoc on 23.2% of their plays. And for those who know, we talk about havoc. Those are tackles for loss, turnovers, pass deflections, etc. So to your point, Seth, I think this is going to be one of those games where Oregon is going to do what they do. Michigan State is going to have to run the ball. But my fear is if they get down quick, and we've seen Oregon do kind of crazy things here, if Michigan State gets down quick and they have to abandon the run game, which may be their one saving grace, that spells absolute disaster for Aiden Childs. It's going to be a long game. So I think what you're going to see early in the game is that exact offensive game plan. Let's run the ball, take advantage of a weak run defense. But they have to abandon that by the second quarter. It's going to be tough, and I can see this being a blowout real quick.
Interesting. Yeah, I personally, for one, am glad that we don't quite have enough value on Oregon to play it.
Yeah,
they're quickly approaching a personal shit list for me. Like,
I have one other thought, and it connected to what you had kind of laid out as far as maybe a game state there, Steve, which is we've kind of seen Oregon get a little bit better week in and week out. Other than that pick six in that UCLA game, this actually did look like a little bit of a continuation. And is this the game where you can continue? Because 84th against the pass for Michigan State, is this the kind of Dylan Gabriel coming out party? Now, I'm not convinced that actually still doesn't mean under, to both of your points here, where if Michigan State can't do anything, but Oregon ends up having success, a blowout here still probably ends up covering an under. But yeah, I don't know. This one's interesting. I'm with you. I tend to think Oregon, with the kind of recruiting class we know they have, is on the direction of getting it right, more so than it's time to panic. But sure. This is an interesting game. Another good Friday night match, hopefully.
Potentially, yeah, I hope so too. So I don't know, any Sparty fans watching this, any Duck fans watching this, let us know what you guys think in the comments. I mean, this seems like it's going to be a one-sided affair, at least from what the market is kind of projecting. But who knows? It could be a sneaky good matchup. And you kind of heard it here from Seth. Potential upset alert.
That echo rate, I'm just saying, it I
don't know.
7th in echo rate for defense on Michigan State, and Oregon is the 110th points per echo. So it's already going to be harder for them to drive, presumably, and they're already not paying them off. That's not a good recipe.
Fair enough.
2 field goals, 3 field goals, 4 field goals, like whoopsie daisy. Not that much has to go wrong.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, we'll see what happens though. So moving off of the Friday night slate, moving into Saturday here. Before we get into other matchups, don't forget, guys, if you're watching, please give the video a like. Please subscribe to the channel. Helps us out, helps us continue to grow, and let us know in the comments again what you think about any of these matchups, and we will do our best to answer any questions and comments. So, moving to Saturday, how about it? We got an interesting one, in my opinion: Missouri and Texas A&M. Seth, again, this one's cool, I guess, to use a word, because shout out Missouri D, in my opinion, for showing up.
Yeah,
there was a lot of, they caught a lot of flack, I guess, last year for being not that great defensively speaking. But they are number 2 overall in success rate allowed. It was 67th last year, so pretty substantial improvement. And to boot, number 1 in third down success rate. So they're really stepping up in the passing situations here. So we make the number 1. This currently is at a 2.5 here. So again, not really enough value on either side for us to play it, but. Yeah, what do you expect, Seth, after kind of a revamped Missouri D coming out and going up against A&M here?
Yeah, I mean, it's I have some questions. Let's first start with kind of who these teams are. Missouri, 52nd passing offense, 39 rushing offense. Texas A&M defense, 78th against the pass, 44th against the rush. Texas A&M offense, 77th passing, 41st rushing offense. But to your point, Kevin, Missouri's defense definitely was a big question mark going in. We're talking about the 31st passing EPA defense and 18th rushing EPA defense for Mizzou. So in my mind, they are holding it together. I say all that, though. Who has Mizzou played? We're talking about a team, when we're looking at their SEC schedule, second overtime against Vandy. Very, very concerning. They also ended up beating Boston College by 1 possession. Now, I think BC is on the mend here. I think they're a team that is, when we look back, we're going to say, damn, that team got a lot better and is a pretty good team this season. But I'm still concerned we haven't actually seen what we want to see from Mizzou when they get to the SEC. And unfortunately, Texas A&M is going to be a big test, in my opinion. Who are they going to be in the SEC? I think this is going to be one of the first data points we get. I don't really have a great pulse on what we're going to get. You can see what the numbers end up making this game, a little bit in the direction for A&M, but this is basically a coin flip. And I think Texas A&M has had the harder schedule up until this point, which makes me want to lean in that direction.
Okay, interesting. I don't know, Steve. Yeah, do you agree with that? Because it's hard for me to. I like my heart wants to disagree with that. Like it feels like Missouri is the right play here, but I can't contextualize or quantify anything that basically Seth just said. So tell me, what do you say?
Yeah. To that point though, I think what was it? Missouri had the 109th strength of schedule, so like a really easy strength of schedule to Seth's point, where Texas A&M had number 36 schedule in all the land. And we talked about this in our preseason analysis about future bets, where Mizzou had a pretty quote unquote easy pathway to the SEC championship, all things considered, because of their relative strength of schedule. And I think now you're seeing that first true test of what we're going to do. And let's not forget, Texas A&M has a great home field advantage. What I want to call out, though, is this has trap line written all over it. Seth's favorite word.
Yeah.
Can we talk about this? And I say that tongue in cheek because we talk about how trap lines aren't real. But you're going to see the public talk about this over and over again. Mizzou's number 9, A&M's 25th. But Mizzou are underdogs. You know, what's going on here? It's got to be Mizzou all day. But you even look at our model, right? We make the number A&M -1, right? So even though, rankings be damn, you see here A&M has put up a better relative and adjusted sort of resume, if you will. And I think that's what's going to play into effect here. So I'm with you. I'm going to watch this game. I really don't have a pulse one way or the other. I'm not quite sold on Mizzou being the number 9 team that we think they are. I wonder how much that is residue from last year. But I'm with you. But I do want to call out the trap line aspect. We have to talk about it because we're all about better education.
Yeah, But would you guys not agree Texas A&M has had the more impressive schedule up to this point?
No, 100%, without a doubt.
So that to me is like, when people talk about trap line, well, that's why it's not a trap line. It's like they have better data. That's kind of how I would conceptualize it, I guess. I don't know. Mizzou right now, for me, is Mizzou's defense legitimate? Are these numbers legitimate? Because these are way over expectation as far as what we thought we were going to get out of this defense, who lost a number of pieces of the NFL, lost their defensive coordinator to LSU, which that looks like potentially a kind of good riddance situation. Like LSU's defense still not solved. And maybe Mizzou's defense is better. Like maybe, but maybe not, right? Like if A&M has a bunch of success running or throwing the ball, it doesn't really matter here. That's a big data point that Mizzou is actually maybe who we thought they would be. And if not, and they're actually able to hold A&M off, that's another big data point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is, I mean, the market hasn't done anything with respect to the total for this game, but I was just kind of pondering aloud whether this would be I might want to sweat the under on this one too, but you make a good point about the defense, Missouri's defense. Is it how sort of accurate or true are those numbers based on the competition? So we'll see. It'll be a good matchup.
I mean, Mizzou in our model is the 4th best equal rate over expected team on defense. Do we think that that's how good they are defensively? I don't believe so. Personally.
Yeah, if it's opponent adjusted, probably not.
Yeah, no, and it's not. It's
Right.
not. It's just their raw Eckel through these first 4 games, and they didn't play last week. Like, this is a big data point. I mean, we already got a data point, quite frankly. Maybe we just want to ignore it. I wouldn't ignore it. Your one SEC matchup against Vandy, second overtime. Concerning.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. All right, we'll see. SEC matchup, then we move on down the slate. Next matchup, we got Michigan going up against Washington.
Wow.
My personal nominee for ugliest game of the weekend. Again,
just
just
fall from grace of the weekend. Like, this was the national championship last year.
I didn't even think of that. That
Yeah.
totally wow. Talk about fall from grace. You're right about that. But again, just kind of using the market as a data point. Only the servicemen matchup, Air Force and Navy, have a lower consensus total. I think this is at 40.5 last time I checked. So we talked about a couple weeks ago, the switch from Warren to Orgy and what that's going to do to Michigan's offense. And to no one's surprise, it's been a struggle to have any passing efficiency through the air. And this one's a weird, I don't say strength on strength, but a couple of data points I want to give to you, Steve, and then I want to help me break down this one. So Michigan, number 130th in EPA per play when passing, but number 41st when rushing the ball. So okay, it kind of tracks with the eye test, right? But then Washington on the flip side, they're number 89th in EPA per rush allowed. So is this a situation where Michigan knows the weakness of Washington and they're just going to pound it all day long and Washington doesn't have a chance? Or what do you think is going to happen?
I don't think they have a choice, right? I mean, we've already established that Alex Orji cannot move the ball downfield, and they're putting them in here for his dynamic play at quarterback, including running the ball. And for me, we look at this matchup here, you see the breakdown. One thing that stands out, or two things that stand out to me, is the offensive weighted EPA for Washington, right? Look at Will Rogers, quarterback in that team, and we haven't seen impressive sort of eye-popping numbers per se. But to me, like, this is going to be the test of, can Michigan's defense continue to stand up and help out that offense here, because we know that's where the battle is going to be won. And then, excuse me, the real big thing is going to be here, the offensive echo rate over expected. You see there a whopping 16.68% for Washington. Again, this is going to come down to, for me, Michigan's defense, because I don't find Michigan's offense, regardless of who's at quarterback, potent enough to really cause issues for the opposing team. It's going to be the defense keeping Washington in check. It's going to be whether or not they win this game, in my opinion.
You hit on two really important things that stood out to me in the data here, Steve, and those are exactly right. When we look at that weighted EPA number, this actually makes Washington the 19th most efficient offense in the nation. But the other thing that we're seeing is that Washington is 48th in echo rate over expected, but they're 97th in points per echo.
Sheesh.
To me, I'm really, really, really concerned here for Michigan. At some point, this is going to start to pop off, and Washington is going to start paying off these drives. The other thing that makes me very concerned if I want to be a Michigan backer, Michigan's defensive run rate over expected is negative 38%. What does that mean? It means that teams are throwing on Michigan 38% more than an average defense. Teams are basically saying, I don't care if you're good on defense. You're supposed to be these world beaters. We show them as the 56th best passing defense. This is how teams are beating Michigan, period, point blank. They know it. Everyone knows it. They're going after it. And I'm really concerned that what we've seen up into Washington this point, from not blowing teams out or, winning or covering, is they're stalling out in the red zone. They're stalling out on these drives. At the end, they're getting there, but they're just not paying them off. What happens when that switch kind of regresses to the team that we think they are, with the 16th most efficient weighted EPA team on offense? So those things are concerning to me if I'm a Michigan backer. Now, you can argue, well, maybe they're going to regress to a team that's stalling in the red zone, and that's truly their efficiency. But pretty much when every other data point that's not in that red zone is pointing to a really efficient team, it's usually only a matter of time before they start to have success in the red zone and those drives really start to add up. So Is this the week? I don't know. But if I'm wanting to be a Washington backer, that's what I'm hanging my hat on. That you're probably buying as low as you're going to be able to buy for this team, in my opinion.
Interesting. Yeah, and kind of on the thinking through that on the flip side too. I mean, if any of that comes to fruition, again, we just talked about the struggles with Michigan and throwing the ball. Like, if they get down a score in the second half, good luck. What are they going to do? You're going to keep running it to chew more clock up, or like you're going to try to run to set up the pass? Like, Orgy he can't throw the ball, just period.
Yeah, and I think that's a team thing. I don't think it's him. That's like, I don't think they have the pieces to be able to throw the ball. So when you were asking Steve earlier, what are they going to do? They have no option.
They don't.
They can run the ball. That's what they're going to do. I mean, this is the team we were on Minnesota last week. This is a team that was a onside kick away from giving Minnesota the ball with like a minute left to potentially upset them. I'm not saying that this is for sure a cover. We're not betting it. So put your money where your mouth is kind of thing here. But the data are really pointing out, if you want to be, speculatory here, the side I would want to be speculating on is Washington is a volcano that can erupt at any moment here. And you're going to be, you would want to be on that side, especially when you only have to lay 3. Or is it 2.5?
2.5 last time I checked.
So, field goal, right? I mean, I didn't get to see most of the Rutgers game, but from my understanding, there was some high variance stuff that got called back, but I don't know. I mean, this is the classic. I don't think could ever think I would be saying this, a classic Big Ten matchup, but
right.
I don't know. If I'm forced to bet on this, Washington is definitely the play in my mind.
Yeah, and I think what's concerning too, speaking of last week, like you mentioned, Seth, like you talk about that Minnesota-Michigan game. I mean, Minnesota put up 21 points in that fourth quarter. Right now, granted, that first drive was at the end of the third quarter going into the fourth, right? So it's a little inflated, but my bigger issue is there is clearly a recipe where you can score on this Michigan defense. And to Kevin's point, if you figure that thing out at any point early in that game, you get Michigan down by 2 scores. What are they going to do here? So the Michigan defense to me is not invincible, as kind of counterintuitive as that may seem. So I'm with you. This could be a ticking time bomb.
Yeah. And the reason that this, we bring it back to the national championship, one of the major drivers of Michigan winning that game last year and winning the national championship was their defense. They were just smothering and really, not having any success throwing the ball, which is what was Washington's bread and butter last year. Michigan every week we go on is clearly just not that team last year.
What a difference a year makes, right? What a difference. So we'll see what happens. Another potential upset alert. I mean, we talked about it. The spread's obviously not that big in this one, but yeah, not far-fetched at all to see the number 10
Would
team
we call this
if
Washington wins, is this an upset?
No one's not going to call it an upset.
I would not call that an upset. How could it be an upset? Less than a field goal?
Well, I guess I'm not asking you then.
Okay.
But I think that's a good
count.
point, though. Just kind of talk about what you call an upset. I think for those who may be watching, maybe new to this, right? I think people put a lot of weight on the rankings, right? And that's how, what I was talking about earlier with, the Mizzou game being a quote unquote trap line because they're ranked number 9, Michigan's ranked number 10. We know those rankings are coming down, at least for Michigan, right? But I'm with you. If you take just a little bit of time to dig a little bit deeper and look at who these teams are, it's no surprise whatsoever. I'm with you on that, Seth.
Yeah.
No, I guess I retract my statement too. Looking at the money line odds too. Yeah, best you can get for Washington looks to be, if you have like Profit X or Sport Trades, minus 130, otherwise like 135 in the market. So yeah, makes sense, I guess. All right, we talked about a Big Ten matchup. Let's go back to an SEC matchup, shall we? Next up, we got Tennessee going up against Arkansas. Full disclosure, we got the model on this one, baby. Tennessee minus 13.5. We got it at minus 105. Met the criteria at those odds for it to be EV for us. So, again, I have a hard time. I almost had a hard time basically not wanting to double dip on this. Basically, take double action on Tennessee.
Yeah.
Everything about this screams to me that Arkansas is going to really not have a fun time this Saturday, especially on offense, in trying to rush the ball. Despite them, Arkansas being the number 5 rushing team per play basis, Tennessee again with their number one rushing D on EPA per play. It's just really hard for me to see Tennessee's defense slipping in this spot. What do you think, Seth?
I think hammer on the nail. Everyone you're going to hear about Nico this, Nico that, Tennessee offense this, Tennessee offense that. No, Tennessee's defense is the real deal here. Number 1 in echo rate over expected. This number is negative. This is the only team in the nation where they have a negative echo rate. Like you're going backwards on drives against Tennessee. Okay. Number 2 in points per echo. So not only are you going nowhere on your drives, if you end up getting a lucky, Hail Mary, you're not scoring. Okay. And I think Arkansas is going to be really susceptible to this. Their offense isn't that potent, especially through the air, which is where most of the explosives are going to come from. 79th passing EPA for Arkansas. Like you said, really good against the run. But again, Tennessee, 15th against the pass, 5th against the rush. Tennessee's defense is the real deal. I think that defense is going to set them up beautifully. And then the Nico narrative can kind of happen. I think he's going to have a ton of opportunities on short fields, given punts, given turnovers, again, through Tennessee's defense here. I don't think a double dip is that crazy. The one thing I will say is no market support. The 13th are still
fair.
available.
Fair point.
So I don't know. I've looked at some other reputable data and some other models. They all have this around where we have this right around 2021 is the raw numbers for those as well. And that's where we make it. And we make it 20.5. This is one where my brain, my heart, and the model all are in one, and I love it. So win, lose, or draw, I love this bet.
Okay. All right, Steve. Are we crazy? Are we being homerish, or are you backing it with us?
No. I think that's perfectly well said. And Seth took the words right out of my mouth. That everyone gets caught up on this Tennessee offense train, and I get that, but the defense is where this thing is shining. And I really don't have much more to add to that. I think we see Arkansas play these close games against the Oklahoma States and the Texas A&M, and give them credit where credit is due. But Tennessee is going to be a very different beast. Let's make no mistake about that. So yeah, the model supports this. We support this. We'll wait for the market to catch up. You never want to sound
cocky, degeneracy. Like be degenerate. Like I want to see degenerates. Please tag me in some crazy parlays that you're doing with like Tennessee wins by 100. The biggest data point, or one of the bigger data points, this is a little bit more anecdotal though, is Arkansas has had a little bit of success in this season. But who have they had that against? Auburn, Oklahoma State, teams that are really, really struggling defensively. When we saw them go up against a good SEC defense in Texas A&M, what happened? They lost. So this is right now tied with Alabama and maybe Texas. Tennessee, by our numbers, is the number 1 defense in the SEC by far. Yeah. So I think that's the angle. I think that's the angle. I did. Shout out to the D-Gents. We're finally on the same side. Go crazy.
Yeah. The only other thing I was thinking of for this game too, both teams are relatively fast paced, both top 10 in terms of plays per game, but my question to you is, how does 61 points get scored in this game? Where's that going to come from? Because that's where the over/under is. And again, like I'm loving a lot of unders this week, frankly. But I need someone to put into context, like where the hell 61 points are coming from in this matchup.
I mean, and it's the same idea though. You're still talking about SEC football, so it's very difficult. I mean, look how anemic Oklahoma's defense is, and they were able to score. What did they end up scoring in that game? I mean, they scored, which is kind of a miracle. They didn't have a touchdown for a long time in that game. So I think Arkansas's offense is a bit more efficient than Oklahoma. So you can see
15 points.
See them.
They scored 15 points.
So I mean, Arkansas's got to be good for 21. Maybe. I just don't think this game is close. It's hard for me to comment on the over under, but I just think you're going to see Nico. Like this is going to be the headline. I can already see it on Monday. Tennessee looks like world beaters. Holy moly. Nico's amazing. Nico for Heisman. And I think what is really going to happen in this game is a lot of short fields for Nico to look amazing. And when they're going to start on the 45-yard line, this offense is efficient enough. They're going to throw the hell out of the ball on the first down. They're going to go for the cutthroat explosives, which is going to look like holy hell, Nico in this offense. The other thing I point out, they're really good running the ball. So don't rule that out either. But that's what I think you're going to see in this game. It's going to be the defense setting up the offense to look so good. And I'm not saying they're not, but I think the defense is really where you're going to see them pull away and cover.
Sure. Could be alt season again. It was officially alt season one time earlier this season or earlier this year.
Not quite for me, but I support all the degens doing it. We make the raw number 20.5.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
No, we got some alt season, maybe derivative season. Producer Eric in the chat says Tennessee first half -7.5 and -102 at FanDuel. So this is going to be just a beat down, from the jump essentially. Get your lookings in. If you're going to be a true degen.
Yeah. That's true. The problem with the first half stuff, like I've studied this a lot, and the public's mentality, and I suffered from this a long time, but it's not as simple as this, which is team win by a lot. So team win by just a little bit in first half. Me bet it's not that simple. Like this stuff is priced, and there's a market going on. Like if 7.5 is such a steal, because then it would not exist. It'd be like 10 or something. Like scoring can be slow in games. Like just because you may forecast a team win by 21, they could cover all 21 of those points or 20 and a half of those points in the last 15 minutes. And that gets tricky from a modeling standpoint to price derivatives accurately is my larger point. But shout out to the degens. You guys hold it down this week.
Hold it down indeed. All right, we got one more matchup to break down. Coincidentally, another SEC matchup. But again, don't forget, before we dive into it, please like the video, guys. Please if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. Helps us out tremendously. We're here every week breaking these down, hopefully giving you guys different angles, perspectives to take into your handicapping. So let's get into it. Last one on the docket. Ole Miss, number 12, Ole Miss going up against South Carolina. Shout out. We're on South Carolina +9, full disclosure. So we make the number 8. There's value at 9. So we're riding, baby. This one for me, guys, I'm gonna get your thoughts on this. This seems like it's a clash of styles, basically. So you look at South Carolina's run rate over expected, and then you juxtapose that with Ole Miss's. So one team really likes to run the ball, and then one team really likes to pass the ball. They do what they do well, right? So, Seth, what's the one element that I think maybe some people might be sleeping on, or maybe not fully aware of where this team is? Ole Miss's defense, pretty good. Yeah, it's still, I don't know. You just don't peg that for a Lane Kiffin team, like, I guess, kind of historically speaking. So, yeah, despite that, we show the value on South Carolina. So where is a lot of this deriving from, you think?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I want to take my victory lap. Been hating on Ole Miss pretty much the whole season. They get their first SEC matchup and they lose. And I think you're going to see, I don't know if this is going to be exactly the same game as we saw in Kentucky, but I think what the model is picking up here is this issue. You called it out exactly. These teams kind of are almost opposites. Ole Miss right now is the 8th overall passing efficient team, very good throwing the ball, but South Carolina is 8th on pass defense, so they're good defending the pass. Now, Ole Miss is also good on their rushing EPA, 2nd in the nation here on rushing offense. And this is where South Carolina struggles, 77th on the ground defensively. South Carolina is much more, I would say, mediocre on the passing the ball, 57th, and then 67th in the rush. And like you said, Kevin, this Ole Miss team is top 20 in both pass and rush. But what I think is going to happen here is this South Carolina team is basically going to force Ole Miss to basically exclusively run the ball. When you're running the ball, you're eating up a lot of clock. It's really, really difficult to blow teams out. I think we ended up getting a 9.5 in the market. I don't know where it is right now. But I think basically what you're going to see is a team that likes to throw the ball, an 8% pass rate over expected, but yet they're probably not going to have a lot of success throwing that ball. So I think this is going to be a ground and pound, kind of an SEC gauntlet, different than I think than the LSU South Carolina game, but a little bit more similar to the Ole Miss Kentucky game. And I think that's where you're going to see it. Just a lot of time. The other thing too that jumped out at me, South Carolina is quite good as far as echo rate, 19th best echo rate on defense. So they're not allowing teams to drive on them. And I think that's going to be another key here. We're going to want to see South Carolina's not allowing extended drives to get into that 40 or better. If they do that, I think it could be a game, because once teams get to the echo rate, South Carolina drops to 85th in points per echo. So they do a good job of keeping you out of there. Once you get in, they kind of give up a lot of points.
Yeah. To your point earlier, just real quick, the market really hasn't moved off this. Is effectively 9.5s everywhere.
Yeah.
Still, so, but we're still early in the week, of course.
Yeah, I like this. This is a high variance play, because Ole Miss does have a good offense.
Yes.
Yeah. But also, South Carolina's battle tested, right? I mean, you look at the schedule.
That's true.
You know, they're coming in at 20th ranked for the schedule, and we've seen South Carolina mollywop Kentucky to open the year off 31-6. Now we're not saying transitive property, but you know, South Carolina can hold their own against that style. And then, oh, by the way, they follow that up with a 3-point loss to LSU. When we talk about high-powered offenses, so it's not like South Carolina can't come up with a game plan, one that we just saw work last week, again, for this Ole Miss team to at least keep themselves within this game, if not win it outright. So
agreed.
I don't know why that word threw me off. Mollywop. I've never heard that before. I'm stunned. I didn't hear anything you said after that. Great word. I love that word. Man.
Not to be confused with Molly Rock from whatever that band was.
I just want to watch.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, yeah, I agree. This one should be good, but you know, go Gamecocks, baby. We're on them +9. So, all right, that'll do it for some marquee matchups here. Let's zoom out for a minute or two, kind of like we always do. Let's talk about the CFB landscape and bring up our efficiency map here. So, I don't know, guys. With each week that continues to pass, for me, there's one team in, we'll just call it the quadrant of elite here, you know, that feels like it doesn't belong.
Who's that?
For me, it's Notre Dame. And yeah, and you know what? I wish I had like more of a hot take to kind of back it up. But with their excuse me. I'm trying to pull this up right now, and I'm having technical difficulties. Are they off this week?
Notre Dame, yeah, I think so. And while you're saying that, I have the power rating. So in order from 10th, from 1st to 10th, I'll start with the best, I guess.
Okay.
Ohio State, Texas, Notre Dame is 3rd, Miami, Penn State, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Alabama, Georgia, Oregon. Pretty much all of those teams are very tight. Texas, Oklahoma State by our numbers is 3 points better than the next best team.
Yeah.
Then we have Texas, then Notre Dame.
Okay. So here's what here's a couple of things I was looking at earlier. So, you know, raw EPA obviously does not account for, it's not adjusted for anything. So shout out if anyone's not familiar with the site Game on Paper. It's a site derived from CFB FastR. Couple of really smart people behind to put it together, but a lot of advanced statistics behind it. They have a kind of a ranking system similar to ours as well, but on an adjusted per play basis, Notre Dame ranks 14th in the country. So the adjusted part takes into account the quality of opponents, cuts out garbage time, and accounts for home field advantage, I believe, in this case. So when I look at what Notre Dame has done in the season here so far, like losing to Northern Illinois, but they have pretty much mollywopped everyone else, with the exception of Louisville. That game was really, that game was close. I think I'm contradicting what I said last week. Actually, I'm pretty sure I said Notre Dame looks like, the kind of powerhouse team that they were prior to losing to Northern Illinois, but I cannot. They seem like a little kind of a pretender to me at this point in time. Just one of those weird things. I don't know. I can't. That's all I got for you, really. But
I think
just wanted to get that off my chest.
Okay, yeah. And what do you mean it was close? I mean, this was not really that close of a game.
The Louisville game?
Yeah. I mean, they must have pulled back. I didn't get to watch the game, but I mean, from what I saw, I mean, this was not a. I mean, Louisville coming in was like a top 20 offense.
Yeah, yeah, they were. It ended up being a one-score game. They only ended up winning by 7. And
Shout out to the model. I think that's what we made it.
we made the number 7, yeah. And Louisville, yeah, to your point, Louisville's a good offensive team. But yeah, they're
So are they a fraud in the context of the SEC, or are they like? Are you
yeah.
saying like they shouldn't even make the playoff? Like that's how
Oh, no,
fraudulent.
not quite that. Not
Okay.
quite that intense. No, I don't think we should have them as ranked highly as we do. Is basically how I think.
Fair.
I think top 20, sure. Top 5, probably not.
But
So-
isn't that just Notre Dame football, right? Don't we have this conversation every year about
Yeah.
Notre Dame coming in, getting some squeaky close wins, being ranked and being favored just to shit the bed when it comes to playoff or near playoff time? Like I think this is just CFB as usual. I don't know why you're so surprised here.
Yeah. Well, to your point, Kevin, though, we're going to get some interesting data on the 26th when Notre Dame plays Navy, because Navy is the number 1 weighted offense in our model. Like, I mean, Navy is doing some work.
Yeah, and outside, I mean, even not Navy notwithstanding, but they don't play another ranked team until the very last week of the season against USC. So I just don't really know.
Navy might be ranked.
True. Okay, fair. We'll see what happens this weekend.
And they play Army too.
That's a really
Army.
good game.
These are supposed to be 2 easy wins. Neither of those are going to be easy this year.
Right.
To be honest with you,
Army is otherworldly this year. Yeah.
I will give you that. Okay.
Army Navy game is going to be next level.
Yeah, that will be legit. So, all right. Anything else you guys want to break down on the landscape before we?
Yeah. You gave us like 1 second after you went.
Oh, sorry.
Alabama, Georgia. This is
go.
There's more to say. I mean, this got to be an instant classic, is it not?
Oh yeah. Oh, who 1,000,000% for sure.
That was such a good game.
It was, and just Georgia losing that game. I forget what you said, but where are they in our power ratings?
Alabama or Georgia?
Georgia.
Just give me a second. I gotta pull it back up.
Okay, but I think what are they in the AP poll now? I think they're number 4. They're still.
We have Alabama 8th and Georgia 9th, and literally they're less than 0.1 points apart.
Yeah. Okay. So,
and I think Bama's 1 now and Georgia's 5.
Okay. Yeah. So Bama's 1, Georgia's 5. So not a lot of movement, obviously, but yeah, that was. What do you say?
I think that makes sense. Alabama has now the best win, right? They played the
definitely
best team.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, can I ask you guys a question though? And this may seem kind of silly, but in all honesty, are you more just look at the second half alone? Are you more impressed by Georgia or more concerned for Bama? Obviously, Bama came back and they had that big play to get that touchdown and really seal the deal here. But Georgia took the lead after getting
which is
mollywopped all game for 3 quarters. So do you have any sort of hesitation about Bama and some either weaknesses or concerns, or is it's like, oh no, Georgia's going to be back here and we shouldn't overreact to this Georgia loss?
Yeah, both.
That was a tale of 2 halves.
Yeah, exactly. But this is SEC football. Like it's just like the NFL. Like it should be categorized no differently. If a team got up by 28 in the NFL, high probability that game's going to come back in the direction of the team that went down 28. It takes a lot of variance in the NFL for blowouts to happen. I think the SEC is no different.
Fair enough. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it wasn't like Appalachian State came back from 28 down or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, we're still talking about Georgia.
Yeah, the spread was like 1. It closed at 1. I mean, this literally market is telling. That's how efficient the market is. Vegas knew, guys. Vegas knew this whole time.
They made the call. Said make it a game, boys.
Carson Beck. The memes out of that game may be the most diabolical, though.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, Carson Beck is basically Timmy, like, which is just crazy. I mean, yeah, it's pretty wild. But yeah, I don't know. Shout out Bama.
Shout out Bama for sure. Yeah, we're gonna see them in a couple weeks, so I'm very excited for that. All right. Anything else before we move on?
Yeah.
I just want to get that off my chest.
Okay, good. I'm glad. All right, let's move on. We got a second week of this segment called Off the Numbers. So basically, the 3 of us are making a pick that is not entirely, maybe tangentially based off of the model, but just a couple of plays, one each that we like, coming into this week, and we're just gonna have a friendly little shit talking competition the rest of the season as the season goes on here. So, I guess I'll do the honors and go first since I'm the only one who was worth a damn last week. So,
whoa, what are you talking about? I think we all won.
What?
No,
You didn't
I
win.
for sure. Yeah, I got cute last week.
Well, I definitely won.
Yeah,
I actually won the most money.
I was going to actually qualify that and say, how, are we just going to track record here, or are we going to track like
units, baby?
Units. Okay, obviously he bet a plus money bet, so that's what he's
plus
for,
110. So. Plus 110.
Okay, fine. We'll figure that out. Let's just jump off the numbers pick this week. I'll go first here. So I'm looking at the Clemson and Florida State game here, and it's really difficult for me to frankly overanalyze the situation. I will say I did put this in with the assumption that DJU was going to be playing. That seems to be a question mark at this point. He got injured late in that
finger.
Okay, I didn't see that report yet. So he broke his finger apparently, and throwing hand.
He's out. He's not playing.
He's not playing officially. Okay, I hadn't seen that report come through yet. So now you got, what's his name, Glenn Beck or something like that behind him. I don't know much about this kid, but for what it's worth, I don't think the market has really done anything with this game. 14.5 still pretty much across the board here, but I don't know if this was some weird kind of loyalty thing. But again, maybe you could. There's going to be an argument to be made here that nowhere to go but up for Florida State. They've been so abysmal, offensively, and maybe DJU's worth to the spread is effectively nil because the market has not moved. But I saw, just kind of juxtaposing the on paper metrics and everything that we track. You got Clemson's not necessarily like far quadrant lead or anything like that. If we pull up actually our power rating, let me see if we can pull it up real quick here. Just go back to this. Yeah, here we go. So you can see Clemson there's technically quadrantally, good offense, slightly better than average defense, and
right below Boise.
Yeah, right below. Yeah, and then Florida State, I know you can't tell, but they're right in that little cluster where Hawaii, Vandy, and Wisconsin is right in that little cluster. So kind of in the quadrant of woe there. And it's just which was really difficult for me to, when I saw this number, I'm like, I hate the hook, but I think Clemson is going to be plenty motivated to get an ACC win here, and just they're not going to take their foot off the gas, and they've been playing well the past couple of weeks for sure. So I'm on Clemson minus 14.5 for better or for worse. Now that DJU's out, let's ride, baby.
Well, you already lose a half a point because you called the backup quarterback Glenn Beck. That's the Fox commentator. You meant Brock Glenn. So you already lost this bet. But yeah.
Starting off great. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, but our number, for what it's worth, we show basically no edge on this game either way. I guess I'm technically going against the model, but I think one thing that can't be modeled here is a program level collapse at Florida State.
I think you're right. I don't think anybody wants to say this because everyone's just delusional. I think you're going to see how bad this backup is, and that's why DJU is starting. Like, he's starting because he's the best option.
Sure.
Right.
And if there were better options, he would be starting. And I think you probably are going to see, like, holy shit, this is DJU is literally the glue holding that shit show together.
And if that's the case, my God, worse than I could ever imagine.
Yeah, you're getting like the ultimate buy low spot, I think, maybe ever.
Yeah.
Shout out. All right, Clemson minus 14.5. That's what I'm on. All right, Steve, what do you want?
All right. I am on UNLV minus 5.5. Now, listen, Matthew, who? I don't care. Listen, if you guys heard the story, Matthew Sluka, UNLV quarterback, they were 3-0. He didn't get his NIL money, and I'm not mad at him, but he's gone. For better or for worse, he's gone. Derek Stevens, CEO of Circus Sports in Las Vegas, obviously, even offered to pay his $100,000 NIL deal to keep him there. The program said, no, we're done with him. We don't care. He's dead to us. Enter Hajj Malik Williams. Now, this sucked for us last week because we were on Fresno State and we got absolutely destroyed. But this guy, he's thinking about your backup quarterbacks and what are you dealing with here? This guy, FCS quarterback at Campbell, has all the throwing accolades you could ever want out of a quarterback. he's ready to go. We were unsure about that going into last week. Making no mistake, we have no doubt. I have no doubts this week. Going up against the Syracuse team, who, it's not bad, but they're not great here. I think ULV continues to roll. That whole system is ready to roll. Malik Williams will keep that system running ever so smoothly. Give me -5.5.
All right, go Rebels, baby. All right, that's Steve's locked in. I'm locked in. Seth, what do you got?
All right. I don't know that these words would have ever come out of my mouth. I don't even know, maybe like 3 weeks ago, but Army's offense is just clicking on all cylinders, and Tulsa is kind of just dog shit. Like, they're not really good or bad in their conference, but compared to, I think, what we're going to see this Army offense be able to do, I think that there is a steal, and I mean steal here, at a -11 for Army against Tulsa. Basically played nobody. Army has kind of just rolled through every team they have played. They're on fire offensively. I don't think it stops here. Tulsa doesn't have the firepower defensively to slow anything down. And then I think the triple option's even more complicated on top of that. So give me Army -11. Go Army, beat Navy.
Yeah, I think it looks like, at least early going, we still got a little bit of week runway left, but this opened at 8 technically. Yeah, got a bottom 10 almost immediately. So
steam engine.
Yeah,
The Army is powered by the steam, because this is I just Tulsa, this is an unstoppable train right now for that level of competition.
Okay. All right. So let's put up here for the record. Here is our CFB week six off the numbers pick, baby. Let's roll.
Go Army.
All right, boys. Last but not least, let's talk about.
Wait, what was the official record last year or last week? Did we all win? You said you won, Kevin?
Yep. I won. Steve lost I think at the under, right?
At under 47. I wasn't here to defend myself last week. I got cute. I didn't want to get cliche and just take SMU again over Florida State. I've even kind of dogged on them. It seemed like that was just too low of I was kicking down. Best believe I'm kicking down the rest of the season. All right. I'm not taking any more of these losses.
Okay.
Fair.
All right. Fair. Yeah. All right. So we'll see. We'll keep the record on the screen here going forward. So all right, last but not least, boys, model predictions for week 6. Yes. Oof. All right, we had it's been a rough couple of weeks, and so the model's technically at a losing clip right now, 32-35.
Yep.
You know what? Frankly, it's not ideal. Well, I will say that, but obviously nothing to sound the alarms yet either. We're hovering right around 50%. You're going to have losing weekends. Frankly, it's probably going to have a losing month as well. So,
I mean, we saw an 80% win rate weekend. Like that's called positive variance. We see negative variance just as much. We'll see. We got more. We're almost halfway with this week, and we got a lot of game left. So, all right,
Seth. So kick us off week 6 college football model predictions, baby.
Week 6, we are on Minnesota +9.5, Auburn +23.5, Tennessee -13.5, South Carolina +9, Texas Tech +5, Miami of Ohio +7, Duke +8. JMU Dukes -16, and UCLA +28.5. Hopefully they don't shit the bed.
I love I like the JMU value that we've been getting a couple times.
I almost thought I didn't know if it was cheating. Like this was like I was gonna make my pick like an alternate JMU pick for my whatever we call that segment, but
like an alt spread.
Yeah, like 21.5. Like JMU, their offense is legit. There's some good bets on here. This is a well-rounded card. Some favorites, some dogs, some good spots, some painful spots.
Well-rounded is, I think, a good word or phrase. Yeah, because it's been pretty. And this is I think we see this some kind of carry over year to year, if you will. But like a lot of dogs in the early season, early going. Sprinkled in a few more favorites now that a few more weeks of data have rolled in for this year. So
I want to point out we have Troy on here. The reason we didn't bet Troy, you'll see the edge, is that there is some quarterback issues as far as injury. I don't know if we've looked at any updates. The market's actually bought this. They've been buying Troy all week. I ended up betting this personally, so I have a 15. I think you can get 14s. Tailor your own risk because you're basically buying either an injured quarterback or a backup quarterback. There does seems to be some support at Troy. The raw
What number did you get,
here,
Seth?
plus 15. I did bet it at open.
Yeah,
we
okay.
we didn't end up giving it out. It's not an official play, but I did want to point it out for any degens out here, since we've been shouting them out. If you wanna we make the number a lot of value, but a lot of that value that the market is not giving us or the market is giving us the value because of this quarterback injury. So if you want to say, you know what, I don't really care, bet at your own risk, but that's the reason we're not giving it out officially.
Yep. Fair enough. All right, hoping to get back on track for sure. Get
Yep.
back into the winning ways, baby. So
October.
still a long season
October
ahead,
is
but
usually a big month for us.
yeah. So we're hoping for the best. So, all right, boys, that'll do it. Week 6 is going to be in the books soon. So
Go.
looking forward to it. Should be a good weekend. Good luck to everybody. If you're tailing any of the plays or picks we talked about, again, appreciate you. If you would like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Helps us out tremendously. We'll be back next week doing it all over again, baby. So everyone out there, good luck. That's right. Yeah. Good night. Good luck. We'll see you next week.